Hartsville. This is Good Morning PD on Live 95.
Welcome back to Good Morning PD Live 95 on a Thursday morning. Schofield's is our sponsor. In just a couple of minutes, we'll tell you about some of the specials they have going on this week at Schofield's. We spent the first couple of hours, as we normally do, talking about the world of politics, a lot of opinions, a lot of controversy, talking about, people that may or may not run for the highest office in the land. Rev knows this about yours truly. As interested as I am in politics, I'm more interested in athletics. Big fan of college football, Gamecock fan in particular. It's been a lot of fun to be a Gamecock fan with the level of play Clemson, their arch rival, has exhibited on the field. But there's a big, it's a social and cultural conversation that we're beginning to have about college athletics. And I've been on the side of players being allowed to receive some level of compensation, probably much longer than most have, because I just think I try to live in a world of fairness and equality, and I think it's just unfair, the amount of money. Rev, I think when college presidents made $100,000 a year, and athletic directors made $75,000 a year, and coaches made $50,000 or maybe $100,000 a year, I think there was some validity to the argument that they're receiving a free education. And proportionally, that is a certain degree of compensation. But now we've got college coaches making, $8, $9, $10 million a year. The University of South Carolina has 2 position coaches making over $500,000. The coordinators both are making $1 million a year. And you look at the amount of revenue these teams generate, and people don't go to see anybody but the players play the game. And nothing has changed in their world. Coaches are getting rich. Assistant coaches are making enormous amounts of money. The student athlete is still receiving the benefit of a college degree and a lot of the ancillaries that go along. Well, I remember playing it, a little bit in college a long, long time ago. We ate in a different room. We had a little different schedule. We were set apart a little bit, but the amount of money these programs are generating and the lack of the student athlete to participate in all this financial windfall, I find offensive. I find it incredibly unfair. Former NFL athlete who played for the Cleveland Browns and Denver Broncos, and now the CEO of Qwerkz. I hope I said that right. A platform that is changing the way athletes brand themselves and do business. Corey Jackson is with us. Good morning, Corey. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
And I tried to set that up. I mean, you being a former athlete, you being somebody who was trying to, position and advance the debate in compensating these kids who I believe deserve to be compensated. But I'll kind of get out of the way and let you do. Why is this a priority of yours, and how do you think we advance this cause?
Yeah, so I played Division I basketball and football, and so having that experience, it's really, when you look at what's happening economically, it's really hard to argue against student athletes getting compensated. And so in my company, we work with professional athletes, current, former, and we work with former student athletes. And our position is we want to help them find better ways to create opportunities outside of sports, whether it's a career, whether it's entrepreneurship, things that's going to advance them in life for the next 40, 50 years. And so what we've been seeing over the last maybe 6 months or so is an influx of student athletes that are getting ready to graduate that are terrified, right? They don't know what to do. They haven't been put in a position to understand how to get out into the market and how to sell themselves to a company and receive employment and start their career. And so when you reverse that and look back at all the time we spend as athletes on the playing field or in the weight room and all these things, we're missing out on a lot. And the conversation piece makes sense now, right? Because now I'm falling into a place where I'm lost and I don't know what to do because I maybe haven't been able to do those internships, or I may not have been able to be introduced to certain things in an industry standpoint and things of that nature.
Corey, from that point of view, it appears to me there seems to be an awareness that coaches have and an awareness that athletic directors have. But the NCAA, from my perspective, seems to still be adamantly opposed to players receiving what I think is a more generous degree of compensation. Am I misinterpreting that dynamic? In other words, the coaches and the athletics director seem to understand that these kids probably need more opportunity to be compensated, but the NCAA seems to be kind of have their head buried in the sand and not wanting to budge on this.
Yeah. I mean, you have some coaches that are on board and some athletic directors as well. I think the NCAA understands that this is a box of worms, so to speak, and so it's delicate, right? So once you open it up and once you get it started, there's a lot of different ways it can go. And so I think they're delaying as much as possible, but the conversation keeps getting stronger and stronger because the economics has caused the demand for it. But the NCAA is looking at it from a business perspective and really trying to hold on to the traditional model of how they've been doing things.
Corey, I've always said I equate everything to a Bruce Springsteen song. There's a line in Badlands, poor man want to be rich, rich man want to be king, king ain't satisfied till he rules everything. The NCAA's been king for a long time, and it just seems to me they really are serious about holding on to that throneship. But I wish you well, and consider me somebody who's on your team. I think the time has come for these kids to be more proportionally compensated for the enormous value of the contributions they make to these many universities and many conferences who are enjoying the benefits of basically what is their labor.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.